everybody, I am Kassidy, I am the HippieCatholic. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe to be a part of the conversation. So I'm here with my awesome friend Derek, who's enlightened because he went to Minnesota a couple days ago, and like Minnesota's just like, I don't know, I always feel like it's like a really calm, like spiritual place for me, like because my family is from there. Like the trees and stuff are just really like gorgeous, so
it smells different up there.
yeah, it does. It's just like the air is like fresher or something.
Yeah, because there's so many trees, more trees, less buildings.
We just kind of, it was a beautiful day, so we decided that we were gonna film outside. You probably could tell by the title of this video that we're gonna be talking about Mary Jane, the devil's lettuce. You know, what better place than the HippieCatholic talk about the devil's lettuce? I've mentioned this a bunch of times. I live in Illinois, and Illinois is going to be legalizing recreational marijuana this New Year's of 2019 or 2020. Hello there, my dog. She wanted to say hi. I just wanted to have Derek on here because you've honestly kind of informed me a lot about cannabis. Like, I don't know, you kind of like shared another narrative that like the education system in America kind of hasn't like communicated to people. I don't know, like I kind of believed like what we were taught like in public school, like, and actually believe it or not, even though I'm the HippieCatholic, I've never smoked before, I've never done any of that stuff. I just like to wear flower crowns and like listen to Fleetwood Mac. You were kind of the first person that like told me about how you feel like that cannabis kind of helped you become more spiritual. I just thought this would be a good opportunity to share your story. This is kind of a new segment on this channel that I'm going to be calling the Storyteller Testimonies, where people are just going to be, you know, sharing their life stories and about God and, you know, life in general. So the Catholic stance on marijuana and stuff is just basically there's no like official stance on it, but just like with substance in general, like don't drink to get drunk.
Smoke to get high.
You know, there needs to be kind of like a higher like end or higher calling to what you're doing, like whether that be like medical or like for some people like that could help with their anxiety, stuff like that. So the channel OK Catholics made an awesome video about, you know, how Christians could look at marijuana and how like the legalization of it like is not like a bad thing. Like I know probably some churches are going to be flipping out about it or already are flipping out about it. What like drew you like to weed? Kind of like how did you like start?
Well, the first time I smoked weed was I think it was my freshman year of high school, and that was just to get high.
Right.
That was just for that. And then when I started smoking regularly, that was for about half a year. I was doing the same thing just to get high. And once the people that I was around kind of went away, that's when I started focusing on how can I use this for a higher purpose. Because I always knew that there was something about it. It's under the category of intoxications like alcohol and, you know, caffeine, tobacco, but I knew that there was something different about it just by listening to music in the past, going back to Woodstock, and people are saying they're enlightened, and I knew there was something about it that was of could be of a higher purpose. Like
I've always wanted to go to like a festival like Woodstock or anything like that. I think for me it's like, I know for you too, like me and Derek are both musicians, and it's like I feel like that to go to a festival like that, it would be such like an amazing musical experience. There's a YouTuber called Karuna Satori. She's made awesome videos about like her experience with like psychedelics and like marijuana and stuff, and like I think that's something that we should take note on, like kind of in our like hippie culture and like the hippie culture in general, is that like a lot of people at festivals, they go to festivals to get high and they get like fucked up. Like they're not there for any other purpose. That's like such like a dangerous mindset to have, and it's so like unnecessary. People are missing the potential of, you know, using marijuana to help like further themselves spiritually or mentally.
Like, I think of it as they're weak-minded people, because it's said that marijuana is a gateway drug, and I don't believe that.
No, I don't either.
I believe it can be if you smoke marijuana and you say, this high isn't enough for me, I need something else.
Right.
And then at festivals, they're smoking weed like it's a cigarette. It doesn't do anything for them.
Right.
But if you go into it with the mindset of, I want this to be something of a higher level, a higher purpose, then it'll happen for you.
Ask and you shall receive. Like, when we're using any substance, I think we have to be trying to figure out, like, how is this serving a higher calling? Is this helping us follow Christ more, or is it hindering us? I know that, like, you were with, like, a group of people that they were kind of like the hippie types too, or what, and I don't know.
They were wannabe hippies of the past.
Yeah.
What the past was like, but they were turning into the opposite of what a hippie is. They had their mind in it, they didn't have their heart in it. In my opinion, a hippie could just smoke weed. Once you start going to drugs that take you to other dimensions and, you know, knock you out, that's kind of that's where it's like you're not really, you're going off the path.
And it's like, you know, using anything like in excess is not like good for you. Like even like food, you know, sex, you know, things that were made to be good like can be used for bad. Like, when was your first time that you felt like weed brought you closer to God?
I think it was during a relationship that I was in that was toxic, because I was smoking a lot of weed.
Yeah.
And taking a lot of edible marijuanas. I know for a fact that there were times where I smoked weed that was given to me that wasn't just weed.
Yeah.
That it was laced with something else. And I know that for a fact. And it all started when I was in this relationship, and when I would smoke weed, that little voice inside me was growing louder and louder. Mm-hmm. And it was telling me, you know, break away from this. This is not your path. And once I got out of that path, that's when it just started to escalate. That's where the awakening, which I don't believe that when you have an awakening, it's you wake up and then that's it.
I agree.
You're always waking up. It's like after that one, I can't even remember the point where it happened.
Yeah.
But I know that it did, because every day afterwards, whether I was sober or not, it was happening.
I remember, like, you told me about, like, how important it is to, you know, remember that your perception's like a pair of glasses, and you've got to, like, clean the glasses every day so you could, like, see clearly. That's why I think that it's a good thing that weed's gonna be legalized in Illinois. I believe that the recreational marijuana legislation that's gonna be coming to Illinois is gonna be the most progressive out of any other legislation in the entire country. Not only just to, like, give justice to the people of color that have been incarcerated unjustly, but also to protect people from getting marijuana, like you said, that's laced.
It kind of scares me a little bit, because on one hand, it can be a great and positive thing. On the other hand, you still got weak-minded people who say, okay, it's legalized now, that's all I'm going to do.
It's a big step. I mean, I'm glad that the legislation's going to be passed, but something that I'm a little bit concerned about is that we've done nothing, and we, meaning the government, hasn't really done much to kind of take away the stigma. We've had years of telling kids that marijuana is a hard drug like cocaine. Yeah, here it is. Like, we're just gonna assume you guys knew we were wrong.
The facts that are labeled, or the facts that are given with tobacco and alcohol, we all know them.
Right.
We've been given these facts for years, ever since we could think for ourselves. We've been given these facts.
Yeah.
With marijuana, there's so many facts that are on the pro side and the negative side.
It's polarizing.
Yes. In order to get these facts in order, you need to talk to people who aren't government affiliated, who are saying, let's just legalize it for the money. You need to talk to the people who have experienced it.
And that's why I thought it was really important to talk to you, and like as a follower of Christ and like someone who's like a marijuana advocate. Yeah, you've just told me so many different things about like how you feel like that there's like a spiritual awakening going on, or you feel like that there's a spiritual awakening among people. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I feel like there's an awakening going on, at least in this country and the world, with everybody. Like, you look at through history, and like during the Woodstock period,
yeah,
this concert happened right in the smack middle of the Vietnam War.
Right.
It was a huge thing going on in this world, and I feel like right now the entire world is being woken up in a way of saying that
there's more stuff to live for than just money and booze.
There's more than what is. There's more to it. And I feel like whether you use marijuana to get that awakening or not, it's happening. But once you get that awakening and you realize that there's other people who aren't aware and aren't woken up and they're just living their life day by day, not caring
materialistically,
right, then it drains you because you want them to experience that.
It's like America's such like a materialist country,
Yes.
and it's like we're literally killing our environment by living the way that we do. We're just at the beginning of it, honestly. I feel like we're still like not awake yet. I
Right.
feel like that we're just still like getting to the point of being like, who am I, where am I from, what's my purpose, and what does that mean for my life? So many people that like they just get caught up in the monotony of buying and selling things, and when you buy something it's like you're never satisfied, like you always want like something else. I feel like that there's a lot of people going through life right now with like holes in their heart. Like I feel like that people are looking for things to like fill this hunger, and it kind of makes me think of like that parable, or not a parable, like that one story in the Bible of like the woman at the well, like that we're all like trying to fill these wells within our souls. I don't think that weed is going to fill that well in our souls, but what I do think that for some people it can lead them. I think that anything that leads people to God is a good thing, or like it has potential to be good.
At least in my experience, that weed brought me to God. God was always there.
Right.
Weed was just he knows that I have an addictive personality.
Right.
He knows that I have dabbled in ways to get intoxicated or to get high. And I think at that time his only way of getting me to wake up and see him was weed. But then I started using weed so much more, and eventually mixed with other medications, I had to stop. But now that it's legalized, I'm thinking, well, if January comes and I'm able to, buy it wherever it's sold, will I be able to just stick with that and be able to get off other medications? That's my goal. ADHD medication, especially.
Yeah.
That to me is a gateway drug.
A lot of people watching this video will still kind of be unconvinced of and still think that weed is a gateway drug. How do you feel like that there's a difference between weed and like psychedelics?
That's a kind of a tough question. People say that weed is not a psychedelic, but I say it is. You just have to have that mindset.
Okay.
You have to have that mindset that I'm going to smoke this and have some sort of, boom. If you go into it just to get high, you're just going to get high. With acid and with shrooms, I've met people that took it once and they never needed to take it again. That was it for them. They were awake, they were good, but then I met people that take it all the time. And I think it all depends on the individual. The difference between the two, psychedelics, acid, shrooms, marijuana, I think they're all in the same. There's a danger aspect to both of them. Just like there's a danger aspect to tobacco and alcohol. It's tough. It's tough for a simple mortal to be able to answer.
Off of that, did you have a good experience using psychedelics, or was it a bad experience?
I never used psychedelics as my choosing.
Okay.
The only time I ever used or had psychedelics was by accident.
Oh, okay.
When it was laced.
Okay.
Shrooms I've been around.
Yeah.
I never took shrooms. Other psychedelics, acid, DMT, what is it? Ecstasy. Ecstasy's not a psychedelic, but that can be laced in marijuana.
Right.
Though I know for a fact that there were, because I smoked marijuana for a long time. I knew what marijuana was, and then when there came a point where I would smoke it and it was different, I knew that this was laced with something. When it was laced, at least for me, it was like a nightmare. It was like it was it didn't feel right, and that's why I steered clear of that. I won't say that I want to take it back. I'm glad that it happened, but I'm a lot more aware of like the risk of buying weed off the street.
Yeah, I'm glad that you ended up being okay, and I'm glad that you're able to like share like that story.
I knew people that took it 2 times a day.
A day?
A day, 2 times. And when I feel like when you take something like that, you put one foot into that other realm, into the unknown. If you take 2 a day, if you keep on taking it, you're just pushing yourself more and more into that realm of fantasy. If you take it 1 time and you got 1 foot in there, you have acknowledgement of it, you know of it, but at least you got a foot in reality. You're able to live and function normally, but you have the idea of the what if, of the unknown. Once you start taking too much and you get into that place too much, it just F's you up.
I know, like, when you first kind of had, like, your I found God moment, I know that you told me about it, and you said that you were telling other people in your life about it, and that they were kind of skeptical and just thinking you were just high. What are kind of your thoughts on that?
I get why they thought that. Even before I had this experience, I've been a very open-minded, like, flamboyant, creative mind.
Right.
And when that happened, all I could tell people was there's something happening. Like, I have no other way to explain it besides there's something happening. And the people that didn't believe me, they just went their separate ways, and I'm not able to convince them.
Right.
But it's kind of a curse and a blessing at the same time. I know that something good happened, but on the other hand, I'm in a world that's still kind of fallen. It's not like when you have this awakening, your world changes to where there's no more murders, there's no more rapes, there's no more death. Like, you're still in this world as it was, but now you're a little bit elevated, so you're kind of torn. That's why I understand the people in the past that had the same experience, was the same way, and they had enough and they blew their brains out. Like, I get it.
Right.
Not saying that I'm going to do it, but I get it, because once you know that there's something more, but you're stuck in this world, it's hard to live your life for the remainder of however long it's going to be. It's hard to do it. People who watch this and people who hear about it and they say, okay, I want to try marijuana, just know that there's caution tape. Like, go into it with a smart mind.
Yeah,
that's all I can.
And have like some good people like that you trust with you.
Yes.
Something that weed and stuff and like substances can do for people is that like you said, it can make you have awareness of like that there is another realm. It's hard because we live in such like a materialistic society, and I still feel like that science as we know it and reality as we know it is founded on materialism as well. There's like another form of science where like people are trying to like discover things about the universe using quantum mechanics rather than kind of like the old materialist way, and I feel like that quantum physics is going to open up more doors to the spiritual realm, or the possibility of that there's a spiritual realm. I just feel like that people are awakening, and I feel like it's more and more every year. I mean, we have so much information at our fingertips now. I mean, even like whoever's watching this, you were able to find this video just by clicking in some keywords
on a thing called YouTube. And it's like, and what even YouTube's not really physical. Sure, it's like whatever, you can utilize it through physical means, like through a cell phone or a computer, but like, even if you think about it, even like the internet itself is kind of spiritual in a way. It's tied down by physical things, but really, like, if your laptop breaks or your computer breaks, the internet's still gonna be there. I feel like that as a society, and you know, as kids are being raised with the internet, we're gonna be moving away from this materialist view of reality that, you know, once you're dead, or that, you know, or that all that matters is matter. You know, I feel like that's exciting, but also terrifying. If someone thinks that you die and you're just dead, it kind of blows my mind because the one thing for me that proves that there's something afterwards is if you can fall asleep and have no concept of what you looked like when you were sleeping or what you were doing while you were sleeping. I mean, you fall asleep, turn to the right side, and you wake up on the left side.
Yeah.
Like, what was going on between, but you're able to dream. The fact that you're able to dream and have some sort of thought, image, something going through your mind while you're out cold for X amount of hours, then once you die, you're going to go somewhere. Dreams, that's just like a little insight to what's to come. And with the internet, God created us, we created the internet. So God has a role in the internet,
I agree.
Social media, but so does the devil. When the awakening first happened and I was with those toxic people, and even today, social media, to me, it's run by the devil and God.
One time I read this quote that said that Jesus and the devil split the world between them. I feel like that we see that a lot, like on the internet especially, that people are moving more and more towards perceiving reality through the internet. It's real, but it's not real, and that's what I feel like that by having the internet, we're starting to open up our minds to, you know, other possibilities, and the possibility of God, and the possibility of the devil, and the possibility of, you know, of being a consciousness, of having a soul, or being a soul, I should say.
But no matter how many questions that the 7 billion people in this world will ask, it'll never be answered. Because, like you said, if the internet is not real, then if you put something on there and it's from your heart, is it real?
That's what the big question is. That's
what the huge question is. Like this video right now, like you put it on there, we say the internet's, it's fantasy, it's not real, but we're doing this video.
Right, we're doing this video.
That's
and
where
this
it's a frustrating question.
And I feel like that the internet, it's like it's a tangible medium, but yet it's also not real. Then it kind of gets you into this mindset of like, what else is like this?
Right. It's like the internet is the ultimate human mind. Yeah, it has the perfect mixture of good and evil. And
a lot of issues that have been suppressed are coming to the surface and are not gonna be, you know, suppressed anymore. Like, they're coming out of the belly of the beast kicking and screaming, you know. And some people, like, they're like, I don't want to talk about it, but it's like you said, like, if you choose to partake in that conversation or not, it's still there. If you choose to use weed or not, it's still there.
History does repeat itself. Exactly what's happening now happened in the 60s, but now it looks like it's at a way higher level. In another 50 or 60 years, is that going to happen with the youth that will be? Or will there be another 60 years? It's such a big thing.
There's so many high stakes, right?
Or will there be another age, but it'll be even bigger? When I'm 70 years old, if I make it to 70, will this be happening to that youth?
How would you describe your relationship with Jesus? Because I feel like yours is so beautiful.
He knows that I've met and been in talks with the devil. He knows that I went down that road. Do I wish that happened? No, but I'm glad that it did, because now I know that there is one.
Right.
There is bad. I focus more on Jesus than God. Not that I'm saying that God isn't
Jesus
real.
Is God.
One of the first things I read, it was actually on social media, was as simple as this: Jesus will be your best friend. Whenever you need him, he'll always be there. And that's the way I look at it. I can be myself and know that Jesus is sitting right there going, yeah, there's silly old Derek. Instead of being fearful of God.
Right.
And sitting there going, uh-oh, am I going to smoke this joint or drink this beer and God's going to be shaking his head?
Right, and going to be thrust into hell.
Right, that's not the way I look at it. I look at it as I'm having a beer or I'm having a joint with Jesus. I don't think I'll be able to put into words what my relationship is with Jesus. The only way I can do that is through writing.
I think that also, and I think that the Bible supports this as well, like, no man has ever seen, like, the Father. Like,
Right.
I feel like that throughout history, the theistic God that cares about humanity and communicates to humanity, I believe that is the Son, Jesus Christ. Just with my experiences with Jesus, even when I thought I was praying to the Father, I mean, in a way, I guess I was, I realized that, like, Jesus was the one who was receiving my prayers. God the Father is like Einstein's God, like the great creative, like, mastermind. And this is something that I say to, like, fellow Christians that may have like grown up in more of like a conservative background, that kind of don't think that people of other faiths or lack thereof can get to heaven. You know, I feel like that if people are searching for the truth and live in truth, you're worshiping the Son, because
Right.
Jesus is the truth. If you're serving the truth, you're serving Jesus. That's how I feel. There's so many awesome people I know who are atheists that they always are like, I'm searching for the truth. And I'm like, yes, keep searching for the truth, because the truth is the opposite of the devil, the father of lies.
I don't think that if someone's an atheist, they're automatically crafted a seat in hell.
No.
I believe that an atheist has Jesus at their side saying, I know who this person is, I know what they're going through, and I know what I'm going to do for them. And if the person doesn't believe it, that's what being an atheist does. They're searching for the truth.
Right, they're just searching
for the truth is a long and painful journey, but eventually you get to the end. I'm not judging the Catholic Church, but I feel like the Lord's Prayer should have Jesus in it. Like,
well,
the Lord's Prayer...
Jesus wrote the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah. And that's right there. See, I didn't know that. I just learned something. See, that's right there. Like, if Jesus wrote the Lord's Prayer, anybody back then could have said, I wrote the Lord's Prayer.
No, Jesus wrote it.
Jesus wrote it, and 2,000 years later, today, how many people are still praying in the Lord's Prayer?
Honestly, and I think that something that's beautiful about, like, the Lord's Prayer is, like, this concept of bringing heaven to earth.
Right.
And I believe that it's possible. I think that heaven is within all of us. And I believe that, you know, that God's a poet. Jesus is the word that through which all things were made. So
He's the best poet, and He's the best artist.
Derek's a fantastic poet. If you like Allen Ginsberg, he reminds me a lot of Allen Ginsberg. So you've got like 3 that you're gonna read.
It's kind of a sad one, but I think the meaning of it is that no matter what, you'll carry on. So it's called Time's Requiem. I slipped away just as swift as the breeze. A wish carried me on with the wind, and time moves dreamlike in reverse. I climbed higher than the clouds, and I jumped off smiling as I sailed down from the sky. Destiny, the crimson touch of death, and the seasons drift in admiration with a mystic breath of innocence. Memories of distant shores, and the key is lost in outer space. You sacrifice for one's delight, and the train of fools has left us to roam. Days go by forever, drifting off with loving tunes of graceless avenues. Though heaven's gates may not be rusted shut, I remain in the circus of life. Ghosts in the streets at night, they slumber silent and still in remorse. Leaves of autumn rain on down, and streams crawl gently through the maze of willow trees. The tears of God are absorbed in lust, and drained of all strength to think. I am merely dazed, and beneath the requiem of love, I will carry on, I will carry on. So this one is called The Passage, the Passing Away. This is weird. Good evening, passengers. The plane is ready for takeoff. Are you? Okay. A midnight drive with headlights bright. Spotlight shine in the corpse of your eye. Places where faces in frame seem to stare off into some unknown nowhere. On Sundays, the cult awakens, newspapers headlining where all the good men should go. I will never walk in darkness, for the light of the world is my curious friend. 7:15, and I'm talking like I'm hopeless, but I swear to you I am not. Monday, cloudy day, set the stage for a wild yet forgiving rain. There will be a passage before you, and the passing away will be the way. As death explained, life remains. Then he explained, to pass through as swift as rain. I am only a young flower, though what I've seen so far I myself cannot explain. I tried to understand and comprehend the means of my own suffering. I brought one thing back with me from where I've been, and I know I will never be alone. As death explained, you live once, then you live on. So live this life well. There is one love and no farewell. The wonderful will be most beautiful today, I will proclaim. Come, take it one day at a time. I have stared at the sun long enough. I will chase the rays, for something from the air makes it hard to breathe. I have tried and failed so many times. I now have but one hope to save my life.
That's gorgeous.
This last one is ironically called Do You Know God? How did it come to this? Why'd you have to go? Was there something I missed? I just want to know. I think it has to do with self-control, acknowledgement, and sensibility. I've been fighting with myself for Lord knows how long. Too afraid to find the truth, accept the facts, and change my state of mind. To question and answer, I'm better off alone than be with them, who shall not be named. Now that I'm sure, let me explain once again. I've evened out the odds, so tell me, do you know God? I know God is with me now, for I know I've done wrong, yet I feel like I've done wrong from the start. I am sorry, Lord, forgive me. All I want for the unloved is to be loved by you. May they find love with only Jesus for a long while. So tell me now, do you know God? Why, yes, I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are like some parting thoughts that you'd like to leave the viewers about, Jesus and weed?
Weed is something you can try. I won't say I recommend it,
Yeah.
but I will say if it's in your mind and it's something that you've thought about for a while, should I try weed? Should I smoke weed?
And it's legal in your state, obviously.
Right, yeah. Know that it comes with its downfalls and it comes with its uplifting times. You won't crash and burn as long as you keep it in your mind. This is for Christ, this is for me.
Yeah.
This is for the benefit of myself and my world. And if you feel like you are trailing off, it's easy to get back on. Just turn to God. It's easy to get back on.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I am Kassidy, I am the HippieCatholic, and this is my lovely friend Derek. God bless y'all. Bye.
Live long and prosper.